You're dismissing the most important victories of your life every single day. Elizabeth Park, where the only sound is wind through the trees and the truth about winds that actually stick. While everyone's posting their highlight reels, you're building something they can't see. When did you last give yourself credit for what you did when no one was watching? 3 months sober, and I was getting pissed off at myself. Not because I wanted to drink, but because nothing felt different. Wake up, coffee, swing shift at the mill, come home, read 10 pages, sleep, repeat. People kept asking, "How do you feel? You must feel amazing." And I'm thinking, I feel like it's Wednesday. I feel ordinary. I told myself, this isn't working. 96 days clean and I'm still the same guy who quits everything he starts. I was waiting for the movie moment, where the music swells and suddenly you're transformed. Meanwhile, I'm scrolling social media, seeing people celebrate their huge breakthroughs after 2 weeks of whatever new thing they're trying. But here's what I couldn't see at the time. Every morning I chose clarity over a hangover was building something. Every shift I show up sharp instead of sluggish was adding to a foundation. Every night I fed my mind 10 pages instead of numbing it with the bottle. That was construction work on a life I didn't realize I was building yet. Then one morning it hit me. I woke up and I realized I hadn't thought about drinking in 4 days. Not because I was fighting cravings, but because my brain had found something better to do. Those quiet wins, those boring daily choices, had rewired something fundamental. I almost threw it all away because it didn't feel dramatic enough. That's the trap, expecting transformation to announce itself with trumpets instead of trusting the quiet work that actually changes everything. Fast forward to last month. 4 a.m., couldn't sleep, brain spinning about some drama at work. New supervisor thinks he knows everything, changing procedures that have worked for years, making everyone's life harder. Old me would have reached for the bottle, told myself I deserved to numb that frustration. Instead, I opened my laptop and started typing. Stream of consciousness, no editing, just letting my thoughts flow until patterns emerged. Page after page of frustration, but somewhere about the third page, something shifted. I wasn't just venting anymore, I was strategizing. By sunrise, I had a clear plan for handling the supervisor situation, 3 episode ideas for this channel, and a whole new understanding of how to turn workplace stress into creative fuel. Nobody knew about that night. No Instagram story about grinding at 4 a.m. No text to my buddy about my breakthrough moment. But something fundamental shifted. I had taken my worst energy, anxiety, frustration, that spinning feeling, and turned it into fuel for growth. That's what I mean by quiet wins. The kind that happen when you're alone with your thoughts and you choose creation over destruction. A week later, that difficult supervisor situation resolved itself because I approached it, not with anger or avoidance, but with the clarity that I typed my way to at 4 a.m. That win wasn't just strategizing, it was proving to myself that I could transform my worst moments into my strongest foundation, and it all happened in complete silence. The river beside me has been carving its path for thousands of years. Never stops, never announces what it's doing, just keeps moving. Most people only notice rivers when they're flooding or when they're crossing them on a vacation, but this water's working 24/7, moving sediment, shaping the landscape, one quiet day at a time. Your quiet wins work exactly like that river. Every morning you choose discipline over comfort. Every time you do what's right when no one's looking. Every small victory you don't broadcast to the world, that's the water cutting through stone. Invisible, consistent, but unstoppable. Look at this bend in the river. The water doesn't force its way through it in one dramatic moment. It just keeps flowing, day after day, year after year, until the landscape has no choice but to change. That's exactly how recovery works. How building discipline works, how becoming the person you want to be works. And yeah, sometimes the boardwalk gets slippery. Sometimes you slip. Sometimes you have to slow down. Sometimes the conditions aren't perfect. But the river doesn't stop flowing because someone slipped on the walking path. It keeps doing its patient work reshaping the world one quiet moment at a time. The landscape that matters most, in nature and in your life, are changed in silence. Not by earthquakes or explosions, but by the steady, unglamorous work that nobody sees happening. Here's your assignment for this week. Start a victory journal. Not for social media, not to show anyone, not even to show me in the comments. This one's just for you. Every night before bed, write down 3 quiet wins from that day. And I mean write them down with a pen and paper. There's something about the physical act that makes it stick. They don't have to be big. Made my bed without snoozing the alarm. Chose water over that 3rd cup of coffee. Read 5 pages instead of scrolling for 20 minutes. Stayed calm when the customer was being difficult. Took the stairs instead of the elevator. Listened to my kid's story about school without checking my phone. Here's the key. You're not just recording action, you're building evidence. Evidence that you're becoming someone who makes better choices. Evidence that you can be trusted with bigger challenges. Evidence that the person you're becoming is worth the quiet work. Because here's what I've learned over 667 days sober. If you can't see your own quiet wins, you'll keep chasing the loud ones that fade. If you don't celebrate the small victories, you burn out waiting for the big ones. And if you don't give yourself credit for the work you're doing in silence, you'll quit before the compound interest of discipline pays off. After 7 days of this, come back and tell us what happened. What patterns did you notice? What quiet wins caught you off guard? Because I guarantee you'll find victories you've been dismissing as not enough. This community celebrates those wins, the ones the world doesn't see, doesn't measure, or doesn't applaud. We're done living by everyone else's scoreboard. 15 episodes into this journey, and here's what I know for sure. The wins that rebuild your life happen in the spaces between the highlights. They're not the moments that make it into your Instagram story or the victories that get applauded at work. They're the daily disciplines, the small choices, the moments when you choose growth over comfort and nobody's around to applaud. Those 4 a.m. reading sessions, those boring Tuesday choices, those times you did the right thing when it would have been easier not to. That's where your real strength gets built. In the silence, in the ordinary moments, in the space between who you were and who you're becoming. Next week, 3 a.m. lifelines that keep me sober. The exact words that pull me back when it's just me and my thoughts in the darkest hours. Because some of the biggest quiet wins happen at 3 in the morning when your addiction brain won't shut up and you need something stronger than willpower. Until then, keep celebrating in silence, one tenacious tendency at a time.